All of his stuff looked good, so probably too good because it was probably snug, but he was different in everything that he did. He locked up different. He locked up snug.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Snug Wrestling with me, your host. My name is Edgar. Lots of fun stuff to talk about today. And to help me, special guest Aiden from Mostly Wrestling is here, joining us to go over all the craziness that has been going on in wrestling this past week. How's it going, man? How you doing?
It's great. I'm happy to be here. It's been a busy week of pro wrestling, to say the least. So excited to dive into it.
That's right. It has been a busy week, and that means we're busy. I've seen you've been busy.
Yep.
So usually when I start off my shows, I like to kind of give the guests the floor to talk about what they do and their channels and kind of put themselves over a little bit. So introduce yourself to the listeners and tell them a little bit about you and what you do over there on your social medias.
Yeah. So I'm Aiden from Mostly Wrestling. Just starting out in the wrestling social media and starting out with reacts. Getting over like that right now. Just getting a lot of content out. If you miss any show, you make sure to go to my channel. And yeah, starting out like that. Hopefully, going to venture into more podcasts like this and other wrestling content. So stay tuned.
For sure. So when you do your reaction videos, is it a live thing, or is it like you watch it and then you react, or how's that process like?
So right now I got a little bit of a Wendy's set up, so I don't really have the capability to go live and really
Mm,
I'm on a laptop right now, keep it running all too well. So right now I'm just
mm.
recording the clips, getting them out there after the show, and really every segment you need to see, I put it out on my channel. So make sure to go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, if the first time I saw your TikTok channel, I mean, it could have fooled me. The video quality was really good. Like I could have sworn this was all being done in real time and everything. So definitely you have some good quality videos. And for a lot of us, like I recently had to cancel all my cable and stuff like that. I don't have the ability to watch Dynamite live anymore like I
Mhm.
used to. So I really appreciate people like you that are out there, keeping us
Absolutely.
in the loop. So cool. Definitely check out Mostly Wrestling on TikTok, and you're also on Instagram too, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'm getting that going more. So make sure to check that out. Just reached over 1,000 on TikTok, so make sure to check that out too.
Nice. So let's get into the shenanigans, the business side of Snug Wrestling. We're gonna go over some of the comments that Tony Khan has been making recently. Again, Tony Khan is always making the news and running his mouth, which is not a bad thing, because
Yeah.
he likes to stay relevant, likes to get a lot of attention. And this time he was talking about the possibility of extending his program, making Dynamite a 3-hour show or adding another hour to AEW. And this came up on an interview that he was doing where Tony Khan basically he's open to this idea. He thinks that the more wrestling, the better, basically. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about adding another hour to Dynamite. We've seen AEW have a 3-hour block in the past, where they would have to switch Rampage from Friday to Wednesday, and they would have the running shows back to back, making it a 3-hour show. But usually after the second hour, I don't know about you, but I usually just tune out.
Yeah, so I think there is some sense to this, but I think Rampage would have to go. I don't think you can do a 3-hour Dynamite and Rampage as well. I think if you just combine that into one show, similar to a Raw, I think their best opportunity is to go through a Raw SmackDown kind of thing, 3-hour, 2-hour, because they have enough talent. The TV writing isn't necessarily there, but they have enough talent to fill up 5 hours of weekly television. So I wouldn't be against it, but Rampage would have to go in turn.
That makes sense because also I mean, who even watches Rampage? I know they have
Hmm.
their consistent viewers on Friday nights, but what is it like 300,000 average viewers on Friday nights now?
I mean, they don't make it feel like a big deal. I mean, I know this week I think they have Takeshita versus Penta on there, which is I'm excited to see that one. I'll probably find it, but it's on after SmackDown. Usually after SmackDown, I'm burnt out for the week. I'll turn it off, go back to doing whatever I'm doing, and I kind of just forget that Rampage is even ever on. I don't know if you feel the same about that.
No, definitely. And I live in the West Coast. So for me, it's still a little bit on the earlier side. I feel like when these
Mhm.
programs get aired, I want to say over here, it's 8 p.m. when SmackDown comes on. It is over there. They come on at the same time, but by the time it comes on the West Coast, it's like 11 p.m. in the East Coast.
Yep.
Wait, where are you from anyway? Are you
I'm
in the
on the East Coast. I'm on
Okay.
Long Island right now. I'll be at
Okay.
Forbidden Door actually, so excited to talk about that a little bit later too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, so even for me, living in the West Coast, it just it seems like when I'm watching it, it's 11 p.m. But I don't know. It's just something that just crosses my mind. Over there, it's like 1 a.m. or something crazy like that. Kind of like when we're watching the pay-per-view like this past Sunday,
Hmm. Oh my
double or
god, that
nothing,
was
right?
yeah.
How long were you up for?
Um, I mean, started 6:30, right? That was when all the pre-show started, and then finished up 1. And if you kept watching
Okay.
the press conference, you're up until 2:30, I think it was.
Jesus.
So yeah, it was a lot of wrestling that night.
Yeah, even for me, see 2:30 a.m. That's what 11:30 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah,
I
brutal.
got to I got to go to work the next day. I'm not doing that. So yeah, so Rampage, yeah, I would be let's get rid of that.
I
Goodbye
agree.
Rampage. I mean, we have
3-hour live
collision.
block.
Right, yeah. Let's
None
get
of
rid
this
of
tape shit.
Rampage. Mhm.
Or can we curse on here? I don't know how we feel about that.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah. No need for a tape show in 2024. Everyone has a social media. Everyone knows what happens after the fact. Let's just get it out there on live time. That's what TNT wrestling used to be built on. Let's keep that going.
Yeah, so and it looks like AEW they want to keep well, this is a hypothetical. This isn't like nothing set in stone. This is just they're in talks about all this because of the TV deals that
Mhm.
AEW is trying to get. So they're trying to figure stuff out. What if, this is just like a big what if. And yeah, the 3-hour continuous programming was mentioned where Tony Khan said it's interesting right now the most we get per hour for any of our TV shows is Dynamite. So in some ways, you can say that would be really lucrative opportunity. I think it's very interesting conversation to have. And Tony Khan, he wants to keep it at 5 hours a week at best, which he
I agree
thinks that
with.
they can do. Yeah, he thinks they can do 6 hours, but like AEW and you combine WWE and NXT, it's just so much fucking wrestling
Oh
in
my
one
god.
week.
Yep, it's you got 3 hours on Monday, another 2 Wednesday. Yeah, it's a lot. And including we had double pay-per-views this weekend.
That's right. And yeah, so this week, oh my god, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, at least for me, I used to do, believe it or not, I used to do reviews of all of these shows for
Mhm.
my podcast. And I was literally recording and editing like every single fucking day. And after a while,
Even
I
the
was like,
weekly shows? Sorry about that.
"Hey,
The
what's
weekly
that?"
shows? The weekly shows are just the pay-per-views?
No, the weekly ones too.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
So that's why I was, I felt like I was working on this every day, and even like the family was like, "Man, we never even get to spend time with you anymore." That's how much fucking wrestling there is now, and I'm sure it's like that for you too, because you
Absolutely.
also you go over. Do you go over TNA as well, or
No,
just
I
okay.
I need to start dipping my toe into it, but if anything, that would be an after the fact. I'm not going to watch TNA live for the most part.
Yeah, and we'll get into a little bit of TNA too later on
Yeah,
because it sounds like we might have to start watching it.
I know.
So yeah, so I think AEW, Tony Khan, please don't rush into anything crazy right now. Okay, I think we're good where we're at, but if you guys want to add an hour to Dynamite, fine, but get rid of Rampage. That's all. That's it.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's no need for Rampage.
All right, let's
Also, just to touch on Collision real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Saturday is a terrible night for a wrestling show. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. Those are the days where I'm out and about, enjoying my weekend. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying my weekend. Also, you have UFC. I'm a big MMA guy. Then you also have college sports throughout most of the winter. If you're really into that live kind of sports like that, Saturday is a terrible night to be competing.
I would be down for them to like even do Collision, maybe change it to like, I don't know, like a Friday if that was even a possibility.
I think ideally it's on a Thursday, but then you have back-to-back nights of AEW, and then that doesn't work either.
Yeah, and I think they specifically want Wednesdays. AEW wants to have Dynamite on Wednesday specifically, right?
And I know Warner wanted the Saturday show as well, but just as a consumer, it hasn't clicked at all. It's been more of a pain to go watch than anything.
Well, when it first started with CM Punk, and when he was there, I was watching it like every Saturday.
Yeah, and I remember watching those. Also, summer months, not as much competition in terms of sports and fighting.
Interesting. Yeah, see, I'm not really a big like MMA or UFC guy or like college sports or anything like that, so I don't really know much about how that affects the wrestling world, the wrestling product, but yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again whenever there's like a big sporting event like that, like the hockey game.
Yeah.
A lot of the fans were blaming the hockey game and the playoffs for AEW's low ratings, which is very true. But also, it could kind of be like, well, it's not completely because of that, that they're not doing very good.
There's an obvious hole in their TV writing. And I think it's the biggest thing. And I don't know if it was on the topic sheet, but Tony Khan rewriting scripts. They have talent. I know Double or Nothing was being even rewritten up until the hour. So that's their biggest hole at the moment. And it sucks. It doesn't make you want to watch Collision.
Talk about because didn't there was reports that Tony Khan rewrote Double or Nothing like the last minute, right? Which is a very Vince McMahon thing to do.
I believe it was compared to 2019 WWE, back when everything was just getting torn up the night of. We're putting stuff together, flying people in day of, having people in the back who aren't doing anything. Doesn't seem that was the biggest red flag I've seen out of a lot that have come out about AEW recently. And I'm a big glass half full with AEW type guy.
Yeah, and it wasn't just 2019. That's just how Vince McMahon was throughout his entire time. Like he would write shit and like rewrite things over and over again. He's like he was like a perfectionist to the max. Like he was never satisfied with anything, and people would just, you've heard the stories of how Vince McMahon would constantly do that to people, and for someone who takes pride in being really different from Vince McMahon and really different from the WWE and how they like to set themselves apart from them, they seem to be doing a lot of the same things backstage.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Hopefully they can pick it up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely I'm rooting for them, man. Even though a lot of people like to say that's total bullshit, I'm rooting for them.
I agree. I think
Especially now that
no, I think we're going to be in a really good place come All In. I think the ball is really starting to roll. There's some good stories being told. I mean, people are forgetting that AEW is missing most of their top stars recently, while WWE was going through their best period of the year they're ever going to have, WrestleMania 40. And in comparison, you're going to look over at the other guy and be like, that's nowhere near as good as Cody finishing his story and all that. So I think as we go on, build to the All-In event at Wembley this summer, I think we're going to start seeing some really good stuff come out of AEW.
Yeah, and it kind of goes the same way in like real sports. Like if you think about like a sports team, they have their good moments, they have their bad moments. It's not always like a straight line all the time, So hopefully you're right. All In is coming up pretty soon in about a couple months.
Yeah,
a little bit more than 2 months now. And MJF is back. Will Ospreay.
I love that.
Yeah, Will Ospreay. He's winning gold in AEW. Swerve Strickland is the world champion. So things are looking up now that MJF has returned. But the timing of MJF's return, that was kind of concerning to me because he returned at Double or Nothing, which is great. It was a pay-per-view. It was a big moment. It was unexpected. It was a big surprise. He was snuck into the arena in a wheelchair, all covered up, and no one saw it coming. And when he showed up, it was a big pop. Now, the reason I say that this was a little concerning to me was because he came back. Obviously, he came back looking for Adam Cole. And Adam Cole's not cleared yet. He can't wrestle. So they're picking up this storyline with Adam Cole, but he's not ready to go yet. So what else is MJF going to do in the meantime while we have to wait for Adam Cole to recover? That was my big concern with this big return.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I was in the arena for World's End. I was right there. I was on the ramp, yelling at Wardlow, Adam Cole, all of them. And as a fan of that night, that's the match I want to see. I want to see MJF just squash that, put Adam Cole out in the rear view and just go forward. But with the injury, everything's out the window. Maybe you see a Wardlow, but again, that doesn't move the needle as much as an Adam Cole. Last night on Dynamite, they teased Roosh, which doesn't do anything for me at all. At all.
Really? So I missed Dynamite. I didn't catch Dynamite last night. I meant to, but I just haven't had the chance. Tell me a little bit more about that because I saw the clips that people were posting and no one said anything about MJF. And I thought for sure we would see MJF on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. So the extent of MJF last night was a play on just a return hype package promo, just showing the same kind of clip they showed at Double or Nothing, and then going further like he is the longest reigning, And then just a weird backstage segment came up with Roosh where he's like, if you mess with the bull, you get the horn. But MJF has never really crossed paths with Roosh, to my knowledge. So it was a very just out of nowhere segment that felt like filler booking.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, good for Roosh.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, when was the last time you saw him? Maybe the Continental Tournament.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I'm a big fan of Roosh. He's one of the guys that I really want to see him do something in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I want to see him do just, kind of like you said, just like a filler.
And he would just be doing the job to MJF at the end of the day. I don't know if it would just be a Dynamite match, but you can't have MJF lose his opening feud back.
No, definitely not. No, not at all. You can't do that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with MJF and his booking. They probably they'll probably keep him off TV. I mean, they've been ever since the Devil was revealed, right?
Hmm.
After that, the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, they were kind of on TV a little bit, but then after that, they just completely disappeared. So I don't know about you, but seeing MJF and Adam Cole in the ring together at Double or Nothing, it didn't really do that much for me because that storyline, that feud completely cooled off. And now they just brought it back out of nowhere.
Hmm.
And it's kind of hard for me to get back into it after this long.
I mean, I think MJF, and especially if Adam Cole were to be healthy, this is again all hypothetical because Cole isn't healthy. I think they could put on something that you would buy. They're both good enough to get in the ring, exchange the promos, especially with the history. But I don't know what you do with them. I the night that the Undisputed Kingdom died is when Wardlow just lost cleanly to Samoa Joe at Big Business. That I was
Mhm,
again there at Big Business. That match, I was like, something's got to happen, some sort of shenanigans. And no, Joe
mhm,
just choked him out clean. And ever since then, Roddy's been doing the best he can. Obviously, the great match with Osprey, but he did the job in that one too. Taven
mhm.
and I can't think of Bennett don't do anything for
My
me. So the
They
Undisputed
don't do
Kingdom's
anything.
dead.
They don't do anything, period. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so the other thing too, and this is coming from Fightful. I don't know how you feel about Fightful, if like you
I
believe
read it just
everything.
because you gotta.
Yeah, so they also said that MJF didn't even get surgery for his shoulder that
Oh, really?
was, I'm pretty sure, was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that the whole point of this hiatus was for him to go away and recover, get the surgery and heal up and then come back.
It
But
was
now they're
also a hip,
saying,
I think, too. If you remember
yeah,
that elbow he did on Jay White at Full Gear.
yeah, when he did that crazy, oh yeah,
on the
yeah, the
on
dive
the table that was already down.
that was broken already.
Yep,
Yes. Okay. So
he
maybe
was banged up bad.
yeah, I mean, you could tell, and the one that I remember the most was the cutter that he did from the ring, where he jumped over the rope on down to the floor.
Yeah, yeah, yep. That one was crazy. Yeah,
That
in the
was
Full Gear
like
match.
insane, fucking
Yeah, that
insane.
was
So
Maxwell Jacob Hogan that night.
yeah, for sure. So he's not MJF is not completely healed himself either. So we got a beat up MJF still, it sounds like, and Adam Cole, who's not cleared yet, who we saw face to face at Double or Nothing. But I think maybe that's just like a little tease for now to what is going to come later on in the future. Most likely, what do you think? All in?
For Cole MJF or
Yeah,
MJF return. I
for
think.
Adam Cole versus MJF.
I mean, you could run it back at all in. There are so many cards on the deck for MJF to play with right now. Like he hasn't really been involved with Swerve, Osprey, any of the top talent in AEW at the moment. So he's kind of coming back to a fresh scene. So I'll let them cook. He's coming back on Dynamite next week. I'm sure he'll have something in mind to talk about. We'll see where we go from there. I'm not
That
fantasy booking anything at the moment because nothing really makes sense other than the kingdom.
yeah, that's man, it's kind of hard to fantasy book AEW, isn't it?
Yeah, especially weekly TV.
Like
Just put
fuck.
Danielson against a New Japan guy. You're good.
Jesus. Yeah, like they're so unpredictable, but sometimes a little predictability isn't always bad, you know?
Sometimes
Um
you can run New Day versus Imperium for 2 months straight.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Swerve Strickland, he had a oh, excuse me.
You're good.
He had some comments here about, the possibility of facing MJF. Um the beauty of this company, of this whole company, Swerve says, is those possibilities. Everything is possible. I know he has unfinished business, he being MJF, too many pronouns, pal, with the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole. and he probably want to finish up some things, said Strickland. So, working champion Swerve Strickland, he's down to get in the ring with MJF. I'm down to see him get in the ring with MJF. But like you said, man, anything can happen in wrestling.
Again, yeah, I obviously MJF or Swerve is one of those matches that you pinpoint and be like, they will cook on the mic and they will cook in the ring. Just let them go. But it's a matter of how we get there, and timing doesn't feel right.
Speaking of letting them cook, how about letting good old Chris Jericho cook with his learning tree gimmick, huh? How about that? How about Chris Jericho on Wednesday? I know I didn't watch Dynamite, but I saw the clip out of all the segments in that 2-hour show. The one that I took time out of my day to go YouTube and go look it up was what was it called? TV time? No,
TV time with the learning tree, Chris Jericho.
TV time with the learning tree. Thank you, oh great Jericho, for blessing us all with your great catchphrases and your millions of sayings that you had on that segment about the bad apple doesn't fall far from the
Yep.
tree. And
Yep.
well, he was saying some crazy ass shit that was like, what the fuck is it? What does that even mean? I don't know. But we
I
saw
love
Chris
where
Jericho. Yeah, go ahead.
I love where your head's at right now because I'm the same way. I at first with this angle, the whole learning tree, I was like, oh my god, Jericho, it's real go away heat, go. But
Yeah.
then he started reading the comments, like we all know, and he's won me over with this gimmick. Every time he's on, it's just so insufferably great that you just have to watch it.
I hate to say it, man, but he's getting over with me too because he's like basically telling us like, "Hey, fuck you guys! Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna sit here and make millions of dollars, and you guys are gonna be forced to see this, and you guys." It doesn't bother me. You guys don't bother me. You guys can say
Yep.
everything you want about me. I don't care who says it. I don't care if it's, Eric Bischoff or Jim Cornette or Vince Russo. None of these motherfuckers. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I think
Yeah.
that attitude is what's that's the fun part about this whole fucking thing.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like classic Jericho. It kind of reminds me of the '08 Jericho with the suit, where he kind of just gives in and listens to the crowd and knows what they're hating and buys into it so hard that it's just real heel heat, not even go away heat anymore. That he's mastered it, and it's probably one of the last great Jericho gimmicks we see.
I can still kind of hear, like, when I was watching the clip, very lightly, like someone was trying to start the please retire chants again,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't
Yep.
really work this time.
No. Yeah. The crowd. It's kind of Dominic Mysterio like heat at this point, where he's getting them to the point where you want to go there to boo him and give him that heat. Which, I mean, that's the goal as a wrestler, get that kind of heat. And he's doing it well, and he's giving it off to Cass. And now we'll see about the bad apple, Brian Keith. How do you feel about him fitting with the group?
I think it's good. I think Brian Keith, he kind of he was kind of quiet at first when we first
Mm-hmm.
started seeing him like on Collision doing jobs here and there.
Yep.
But he's from Ring of Honor, right?
I think he was doing the indie scene more. I don't
Okay.
think he was signed with Ring of Honor. I think he might have been like an MLW because I remember when he got the All Elite tag, his company gave him a nice farewell. Like, go get him.
Yeah, and he wasn't, from what I remember seeing him the first few times, he wasn't bad. Like he's not a bad
Mhm.
worker or anything.
No, not at all.
Um so I'm all for these new guys coming in that we don't really know getting a shot
Mhm.
and getting an opportunity, because we've been seeing a lot of people that, like for example Ethan Page, that didn't really get the time of day.
Mhm.
And now, he's over in NXT or TNA or whatever is going on over there.
Oh,
Um,
literally, you don't even know.
Yeah, so I think it's good that they're giving Brian Keith some TV time. They're putting him with Chris Jericho, who gets a
Yeah.
lot of fucking TV time. Um, but the only thing is Chris Jericho going to be able to get Brian Keith over?
I don't know. He doesn't have a good record at it. He'll be interesting for the time he's on TV because he's in the
Mhm.
Jericho vortex. But the history doesn't lie. Your Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara's are still trying to break through that glass ceiling and are just knocking on it. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, and Action Andretti, he was supposed
Yeah,
to be,
another one. Yeah,
the next big guy in AEW. He came in and beat Jericho out of nowhere, and it was supposed to do all these great things. And I can't think of anyone that has been involved with Chris Jericho that we can say like, hey, like, thank you, Chris Jericho. You made this guy. You helped this guy. Like No, I can't think of not one person.
even deeper than a Jericho problem, it might be an AEW problem that they don't know how to book once a wrestler leaves a stable. Because you have a lot of people that kind of just float around with a gimmick, but it's just kind of like, oh, here's the bounty hunter Brian Keith. Nothing really tangible other than that's his nickname. So I'm all for getting people like Brian Keith that opportunity to give something tangible to play with in terms of a character storylines, but it remains to be seen how they do when they split off.
Yeah, and I mean that's the problem here. Like, I know that this is a heel gimmick that Chris Jericho's trying to do. Excuse me, the
Mm-hmm.
learning tree, whatever, like he says he's the longest reigning for the world champion, which is not true.
It's so
But
funny though.
because yeah, so he's like this kind of like this delusional prick now, right? That's like,
Mm-hmm.
he's so full of himself, which
Taking
is
the
what a
booze
heel.
for cheers and just completely rejecting
Thanks,
everything.
guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Um. So yeah, I mean I get it, but like, how is Chris Jericho really gonna do this learning tree gimmick? Call himself the learning tree, claim all these things when he can't get anyone over. He hasn't been able to. And recently he got a lot of go away heat for himself. So he's kind of struggling to get himself over right now. So it's
I
kind
think,
of hard for me to believe that he can get Brian Keith over,
yeah, I think Big Bill, I almost called him Big Cass. I think he fits well with him. I think he fits that role well of just kind of rejecting all the negativity and all positivity. But Brian Keith is really, I mean, they call him the bad apple, which I think will play into his character of not really buying into or maybe going against what Jericho is saying at times. But yeah, it's
Wait,
hard
was
to
that
pick these
always
guys.
his name, Brian Keith? Did he always call himself the Bad Apple, or is that just
No, I
something
think
that
it was
happened?
I I think it was just another learning tree pun, just like how he's calling
Mm.
Big Bill the Redwood.
Oh yeah, he was calling him that. What the fuck? Okay.
The learning tree, the redwood, and the bad apple.
Oh God. So yeah, I guess more TV time for Chris Jericho just means more TV time for Brian Keith and Big Bill, which I'm all for that. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. Maybe we can even see Brian Keith and Big Bill form a new tag team. Do we really want to see Big Bill in another tag team? I mean, he already had Ricky Starks,
Hmm.
so we would be pretty much
I
replacing
mean,
Ricky Starks with Brian Keith. Like,
the whole gimmick with that tag team was we're not a tag team. We're Ricky Starks and Big Bill. So they had our tag team title reign, but I don't put too much emphasis on that.
they were tag team champions, but they weren't a tag team.
I mean that's how they were like what they call themselves. They gave themselves this long acronym that was like the best tag team to ever do it because we are some long BS thing that Big Bill thought of that we don't have a name.
Oh,
We're just two separate guys essentially.
oh my God. No, I don't even remember that, but I guess in that case, then I guess that allows Big Bill to be in an official tag team now. And they can be like,
But
before it wasn't official, but this time
Yeah, I don't know, but it
Jesus.
did seem like they were setting up some sort of tag match when Hook ran out, and then Samoa Joe kind of took him over his shoulder and was like, "Let's go. We'll handle this later."
So now they're saying that it makes sense that the sports entertainer Jericho would want to bring a talk show to AEW TV. So maybe this could be a reoccurring thing where we see the learning tree set up in a talk show segment, which looked really goofy, by the way. It looked like a South Park prop.
It was, but it was perfect for the character. It was goofy, but I thought it played in perfectly to what it is. It's just, look how green it is. Look how good we are. I think they had Turk down too. Like it was all so goofy in the Jericho way that I thought it played well. And I didn't even think about that they don't have a real talk show that they can go to, like a KO show or Twisted Bliss back in the day. Forget what else there's going on WWE.
Yeah. The Grayson Waller effect.
Yep. Oh, of course, the best one. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Big Grayson Waller guy.
Oh man. Well, let's get into WWE then.
Yeah.
A little bit. Since you brought up Grayson Waller, why not? Let's do it. Let's man, my mic keeps turning up on me. Why does it keep turning up on me? Sorry if I burst your eardrum there.
Hey, you're good.
So we're switching gears here. We're gonna head over to the other side to WWE because there is something that people are calling this partnership, this possible partnership with TNA. I want to call this the WWE Forbidden Door. The WWE Forbidden Door. We hear that phrase. That. What was the one that Jordan Grace had?
I gotta find it. It was something portal. The Prohibited portal.
Oh,
she's selling merch now.
So yeah, man,
make sure to go check out wherever you can buy TNA merch for Jordan Grace's Prohibited portal.
I think we got to stop with all these fucking names, don't you think?
Oh yeah. I mean, they crossed the line so many years ago with all the names that they give these things, but hey, marketing's marketing.
So we saw Ethan Page jump ships. But then after that, and I kind of talked about this a little bit yet on my show yesterday. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. Episode 83. Ethan Page attacked Trick Williams, and we saw Jordan Grace. Ethan Page, he's been in TNA in the past. Jordan Grace currently champion in TNA in the women's division. So the reports started coming out. TNA and WWE have some type of partnership, and it's starting all to make a lot of sense. The WWE is finally going to let their guard down and finally let their talent work, and do these cross promotions. We saw that happen with Shayna Baszler, and also Ethan Page has still booked indie dates.
Oh, really?
Yes, I believe it was Prestige Wrestling that he's booked for. I believe it was in July. And I also saw today that Lexis King also has a booking at an indie show. And
Love
I
that.
actually,
good for him.
Yeah, and this is gonna be at, and I gotta pull it up here because I've completely forgot the name. So Power Shift. So Reality of Wrestling posted this, and the promotion I believe is called Power Shift, and he's scheduled to be there. Lexis King from NXT, June 8th. So we have Ethan Page who has these indie dates. Lexis King is getting booked. We saw the GCW collab, and now this partnership with TNA.
Yep.
So what do you think?
First of all, the one I want to see most, and I'm going to ask you, do you believe, Edgar?
Believe?
Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Oh man, don't start with that. If I have to hear that song one more time, I'm gonna go fucking crazy.
But genuinely, it would be very short notice at this point, maybe just a one-off. We're about 2 weeks out from Clash at the Castle in Scotland. If
Mhm.
that door swings open, if even just a one-off appearance of Hendry, I think would be great. I don't think they'll do it, but I think that's the one that a lot of fans are looking for right now.
So tell me a little bit about Hendry, because I mean, I've seen the videos, I've heard the song, but other than that, I don't know too much about him. Like was he from TNA?
So I don't follow TNA religiously at all. I don't
No,
really
me
watch much of
neither.
it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out about Joe Hendry a long time ago. I don't know if you know the YouTube channel Cultaholic or What Culture Wrestling.
Yeah.
They've been doing stuff with Joe Hendry for 5-6 years at this point, and he came to the office, and I remember seeing him. I was like, oh, that guy's a fun indie guy. And now all these years later, he's popping off, and I'm like, I remember him. So
Mm,
I don't know how his work rate is in the ring, but he is incredibly charismatic. He writes songs for
mm,
all of his opponents. I know he just did one for AJ Francis, aka Top
mm.
Dollar. That was, "Can you please get fired?"
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a funny guy, completely charismatic. I think he would fit well in WWE. I hope we see him pop up as one of the guys. I know other way in the door, Josh Alexander was like, "I'm the gatekeeper, come get it." I think
Yeah.
Chad Gable is a match that a lot of people were interested to see right there.
Hmm.
Um, Other than that, it would be. I know Nick Nemeth is working a lot in TNA now, Mustafa
Yep.
Ali. So it'd be
Yep.
very funny if they just crossed right back over the door. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that
What
would
other
be
thoughts do you
great.
have?
Well, a lot of superstars seem to be really excited about this. Like Drew McIntyre, I think he tweeted
Yep.
out something. Uh,
And then Joe
Austin
had a nice
Creed,
little.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
These are all guys I used to be in TNA, and they're all posting stuff about this. Drew McIntyre posted an old picture of him as the
Yep.
TNA champion, and the caption said "Doors open both ways." So
Hmm.
I think it would be dope. I think it would be really cool to see, because it'll be refreshing, at least for me, because I never watched TNA. I mean, I know what it is, but like I've never watched it. So it would be cool to see these new guys and gals come into the WWE. And there's a lot of fans out there like myself. I mean, I watch AEW, but there's a lot of fan base, a lot of people in WWE fan base that don't even know who AEW is. So like when
Hmm.
you bring in guys and girls from TNA, it's going to be brand new people, brand new names that we haven't seen before. And that's
Yep.
always exciting.
And a lot of times you're going to get these top level people from the other company coming over, and they already have this kind of aura to them. Like Jordan Grace has this aura where she's
Oh my
just
god.
massively strong and an imposing figure when she enters the ring. And yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of that going forward. I know
Yeah,
Shawn
dude.
Michaels was quoted on the night of the show. He's like, we're making wrestling fun again. And knowing that him and Triple H are leading the charge, it's refreshing to know that they're open to these kind of ideas and that we can see wrestling go in places we've never really seen it go before, especially on the WWE end.
Hell yeah, for sure. And that's exciting, man. Like I got so pumped when I saw Ethan Page show up, and then after he showed up on NXT, he went on Twitter and was like, "Hey, I'm not signed to anyone. I haven't signed to anyone. So hey, balls on your court type thing." And it's like, what the fuck? Is
Wait,
this a
really?
storyline? Like, is this a, like, did this really
I thought it
happen?
was I thought it was
Mhm.
reported that he was brought in last week and like super undercover and he signed in the past week or so.
Nope. Here, let me show you this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I played this clip yesterday, but I'm gonna play it again just in
Go
case.
for it.
Everybody saw what I did last night. Literally everybody. We're talking millions of views across all social platforms. It's pretty heavy. I'd even say that's a bit of buying power for Ethan Page. Especially because, contrary to popular belief, Ethan Page is not signed to any company or any contract. And I'm going to just assume that Trick Williams would love to get a little payback and revenge on Ethan Page. So, NXT, I'm going to leave this one to you. Ball is in your court, and all ego is all ears. I'm going to assume somebody in that company has my number. I'll wait for the call.
Wow. That's interesting. So even
Right?
if he's playing Shades of Grey, you don't really know because, as you said, he has the indie bookings. So that,
Yep.
wow, I didn't expect to see that coming. I wouldn't be
Ye-
surprised if it to work, but
Mhm.
I love that it's even being floated out there.
And if it is a work, that's a good fucking work.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
especially the way. Yeah.
my mind
No,
was
go
just
ahead.
going. My mind was just going to like so many different places. Like it, usually, like we know if you're signed to the WWE, you're not wrestling anywhere else for no other company other than WWE, and that's it, right?
Mhm.
Or this partnership with TNA is a real thing, and he's signed to TNA, and that crossover is already starting to happen. You
That
know,
would be. See, I heard you alluding to that in the beginning, but I was like, I mean, reports are saying he signed with WWE. Couldn't be anything other than that. But now that you
yeah,
say it, it definitely makes sense that it could be the case. But did you see that they were surprised to run into each other in the hotel, Jordan and Ethan?
I did
Because
not know.
they spoiled their own debuts. They saw each other in the whatever hotel in the gym, and they're like, "Wait, what are you doing here?" And they're like, "I'm doing
Mm,
this and I'm doing that." So they
hmm.
ended up kind of bonding over that.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah. That was another well kept secret. Um, well, apparently not that great if Jordan Grace found out about it, about Ethan Page showing up like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, the reports were saying that Ethan Page signed very last minute, like last week,
mhm.
very recently, but now they're saying that he didn't sign. But there's a lot of details going around about this deal that is still kind of unknown. WrestleVotes tweeted out that they were told that the partnership between WWE and TNA has been months in the making. WWE loved the feedback and energy from Jordan Grace's Rumble appearance, which was fucking great, by the way. I
Very
was
good.
like, whoo, holy shit, this girl, I want to see her in WWE.
She had some great
Um,
face-offs.
yes, she did. And yeah, they're just hopefully they make this whole thing happen. I think it's safe to say for wrestling fans that would be fucking amazing.
100%. And yeah, like Sean said, make wrestling fun again. Let's just have fun with it all. That's all it is. It's not too serious. So if they can work it out, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and that means more fun for us too because we get
Exactly.
to go over all of this shit and cover it. And I had a lot of fun here today with you, Aiden. I'm so glad that you came on and took time to meet with me today. But
Absolutely.
hopefully you can come back soon. Any final thoughts about any of this that we covered today?
Um, just keep watching. It's and let companies cook. I'll say that. Don't jump to any conclusions. Like we talked about earlier with the Jericho segment, let them cook. Let it marinate. Let them see how the storylines go because until it's over, like with the Undisputed Kingdom storyline, it's let them cook and see what happens. So that's my last thing I want to say.
And where can the people find you?
You can find me at Mostly Wrestling on all socials, X, TikTok, Instagram. I'm going to be more active on Instagram. I've been tweeting more. And if you ever miss a show, come to my TikTok because I always have everything. So make sure to check it out.
Right on, check it out. And my name is Edgar, the host of Snug Wrestling. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk soon.
Peace.